know, in Hollywood, you got your movie stars, right? And there aren't many of them, the ones that are pretty much box office gold. You got your Tom Cruises, he's hit or miss. You got your Will Smith, who's bang on all the time. But then you have a whole litany of character actors, the ones you remember. David Thewlis is actually one of those guys. Perhaps you know him as Professor Lupin in the Harry Potter franchise. Well, here's David's story. Born and raised in Blackpool, England, didn't plan on being an actor. Actually, he was in a punk rock band called Door 66 for a long time. But his friends, they all went off to art school, and David went, oh, maybe I should go there too. So he went, and he ended up becoming an actor. His first big break was a film called Naked, where David played a rambling drifter.
Add infinitum, sprinkle on a little bit of grated cheese, and leave under the grill till doomsday.
That role earned him a Best Actor award at the Cannes Film Festival in 1993. Now, you would think that would lead straight to the big time in Hollywood features, right? Well, not so much. Mostly because that's not really David's style. He did everything from dark independent films to kids' movies. He had the role of the Worm in James and the Giant Peach.
Poor Glowworm. She's a little deaf.
I, however, have exquisite hearing.
He did star opposite your other boyfriend, Brad Pitt, in 7 Years in Tibet. Oh, by the way, because of that role, David is now barred from entering China. Oh, and perhaps you recall him from the classic, The Big Lebowski.
So what you do, Lebowski?
Who the are you, man?
Along with acting, David has written a novel. He's finally made the move to Los Angeles, and his latest role can in no way be called a good times role. He's a Nazi officer and a family man in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas that opens in select cities this month.
I'm a soldier. Soldiers fight wars.
That isn't war!
It's a part of it. It's a vital part of it.
Please welcome David Thewlis. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hold on. David Thewlis, everybody.
I obviously don't want to provide even the slightest spoiler for this new film that you have.
Yeah.
Except to say that there are elements of this film where people will cry.
Yeah, certainly. Everyone I know who's seen it so far cries, so that's, you know, go and see it. It's like a, I don't know what the ratio, a 10 hanky movie, 20 hanky movie. Just take hankies. It's a very
But you play
sad film.
not just a Nazi soldier, but you play a man who runs a concentration camp.
Yeah, I'm the commandant of an extermination camp, but you never really see me in the camp. And one of the things about the film is you mainly see me as a rather banal, benign creature in a domestic setting.
Yeah, you're a father and a husband.
I'm an affectionate father, a very tender husband, and you don't see what is going on off stage of what I do when I leave my children. Obviously, I'm by definition a child killer. So that's nice.
I just wondered, you do an awful lot. You're the kind of actor that puts a lot of research into the roles, right? Yeah. How does one research a man who oversees an extermination camp?
Well, this was the problem, was that, I mean, usually I base things on people I know, or you try and go and meet the people involved. So obviously it was impossible to meet a commandant of an extermination camp. They're all dead. Good.
That's a comfortable position. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then it's like, well, do I know anyone in my life? Have I ever met anyone in my life who is comparable to this? And even though I've met two people who have actually killed people, and they've served time for it. I'm not exposing anything here. I'm not going to.
Can you imagine your friends watching this on YouTube going, "You son of a bitch"?
Yeah. You know who I mean, Eddie. I told you I'd do this. So yeah, you can't get close to that. You just can't. You can't. So I just did a lot of reading. Is all I could do. And but specifically, there's a book written, an autobiography of Rudolf Höss, who was the commandant of Auschwitz, who actually was ordered to write his autobiography, which sounds kind of a little celebrity sort of thing these days, autobiography, but he was the commandant of Auschwitz, and he wrote his account of his life and his time at Auschwitz, and that was an incredible insight into the mind of such a monster.
The acting thing is, I almost wonder if it's almost a helpless position in its own context, in that it doesn't matter how good you perform or how well you perform or how good you are at what you do. You're sort of left up to everybody else's ability to pull off their end of a deal in a film, and so that's why choices become so important. When you take a look at your career now in terms of choices and go, I got to make sure I start doing films like this?
Yeah, you learn from your mistakes. There's a few things I've done in the past and I really regret doing, and unfortunately these days everything's, on DVD and YouTube forevermore, so you can't really hide anymore, and nor can you hide even on doing interviews like this in a country away from your own, because everything appears.
Sure.
On
Which films do you regret doing?
Well, so I'll say one, Basic Instinct 2 was not one of my best. And I think the clue was in the title.